and we've got to glare like crazy. Okay, we're live. Better. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, hello everybody. Happy Monday, right? It's Monday already?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So announcements. We kind of are getting to a busy month. They'll be able to watch it and follow up later. So this actually starting tomorrow, with it being April, starts our Surger month.
Yeah.
So on Thursday here in the Thornton store, we are hosting a Bernina block party event with the Bernina L890 machines.
Mm-hmm.
I am super excited.
I know you are. Well, I am too. I really am.
Yeah. A couple of these techniques that we're doing, Val and I actually got to participate and do during training when we went to Vegas. So it'll be nice to actually, put
do them
it
again.
to some use and do them again. Exactly. So, I think we sold our last spot
this morning.
Yes. But a wait list never hurts. So if you're interested, just give us a holler and we can put you on that. And then on not Friday, Saturday. is the Sip and Surge event down in Littleton, where we will be watching the presentation that Baby Lock will be doing. That is a free party.
But do sign up so
and then
that
we do need to make sure that you are signed up. Yes. Yep. So, because of course we're going to have snacks and goodies and chairs. You know, you want a chair, right? So we need to make sure that we put enough chairs out and all that kind of stuff. So, if you're interested in that, again, that is down in the Littleton store on Saturday.
Do you remember what time?
No.
I don't either.
Then on April 11th, okay.
And that's getting closer.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I know.
Okay, we are doing our next Bianni project. So this is the payday purse/wallet. I love this. It is super cute.
It is.
So again, that's April 11th. It's a Friday, and I believe it goes from 9 to 12.
And this is the smaller.
This is the smallest of the sizes. Yes. So you do get a cute little pocket back here for some credit cards or gift cards. You've got the 2 zipper pouches and stuff too. This one you will be working on with a little bit more in the way of hardware. So you have the magnetic closure.
Right.
Okay. And we also have the hardware pieces for the straps. So you've got the D-rings, the little swivel hook, and the slider.
Nice.
So that you can expand your strap. So make sure you get signed up for that if you're interested. Because, it's coming up soon.
It is. Then
on April 14th, which would be the following Monday, we have Kate's Patriotic Flying Geese Table Runner as our Surger project.
Thanks, Susan. It's 11 to 12 in Littleton on Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you. So again, this is also a Zoom class with your Surger. And
it's one of those.
I think it's another 9 to 12 on Zoom.
9 to 12 or 9 to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
So again, on the 14th. But this is so cute. So cute. I love this.
And if you didn't, by some unknown reason, have a Surger, it is something you could do on your sewing machine using your decorative stitches.
Sure.
So you could sign up, get the pattern, and go for it.
Yep. So again, April 14th for the Surger class. Okay.
What else have we got today?
Also with that, a couple of clubs are coming up. So we've got Bernina Club this Wednesday, being the first Wednesday of the month. Then we have the next following Wednesday, Viking Club with Matt and Amanda too. So lots coming up here in the next couple of weeks.
Are you doing Bernina Club this month?
I wasn't asked to. She's working up until Wednesday, right? I don't know. That's a great question.
You might be.
Okay. So
maybe Patrick will do it by himself.
That's not a lot of notice. So. I do have a giveaway. We've got a couple of
cute.
So like this was not related to this, but I thought they were cute and they kind of went
together. They go together, yeah.
So I think Kate did this or did you do this?
Oh,
I think Kate did this.
I think Kate did that as a, yeah.
or as a baby lock club. So life happens, coffee helps. And then there's a blank one too. And then the cute, and I think this was done on the Viking, yep, with your embellished stitches and the little fringe.
So we're mixing these up. We've got baby lock and Viking things.
So this is our giveaway for today, and we're going to get this to Marge Green.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and DDE is tomorrow.
Oh, yes. Yes. How could I forget that?
I don't know.
Okay, so we'll set that aside for Marge. Set a couple of these aside.
And you said Marge Green got those?
Yes.
Wow, lucky Marge. Well, maybe they won't be here for her tomorrow.
Okay, so this is
so freaking
our
cute.
project for today. I got thread all over the back of it. But so this is one of 3 patterns that you get in this design pack from Patchabilities.
So cute.
And I know it's going to shock you all, but it's not embroidery.
Be still my heart.
Okay, so let me show you this pack.
Patchabilities has kind of gone away from the embroidery.
They are coming back slowly.
Oh, are they? That's good.
Yep. So you get a different type of, I think she calls this a table runner also.
Really?
But it's very fat and chunky. It's definitely deep and
maybe it's
not
a table topper.
As wide as a typical. It's like an extremely oversized placemat.
Okay.
But this is the one that I chose to do for today.
Okay.
But then you also get a wall hanging as well. So I love that you get 3 different patterns.
Yes.
Okay. It is all applique, or you could do it in IQ.
You could.
We're not doing that today, though.
We're doing applique today.
We are going to do applique today.
All right.
Right. Shocking. I know. And and this design is actually only $15.
Really?
Yeah. So again, 3 projects for $15.
That's awesome.
It's super, I feel like a steal. Okay. This just kind of became available. So these are on order.
Deb, we'll have to check that. She says on the calendar it shows DDE on Wednesday. We'll check into that, okay?
Okay. So for my table runner that I'm doing today, I do have a fabric kit. It will include the little buttons for your eyes. Okay.
Yeah, she didn't have any eyes on her birds this morning. They look so weird.
So $17.50 will get you all of your fabrics and your little.
Is that your backing and your binding too? Wow, that's good price.
Because it's skinny, so it doesn't need a lot of yardage.
And what did you say the pattern was again?
It's called a chick magnet.
But how much?
It's 15.
15. Okay.
Before a discount.
Okay.
Okay.
Lots of chick magnet patterns being ordered.
Okay. So, and I did remember to put things up online, and I did remember to bring it up to the top of the page this time.
Okay. So if some of these, if you guys wanting these, you're welcome to go to our website and order them and do it that way.
Okay. We are going to...
Are we starting here?
Get started sewing. Yeah.
Okay.
I did a little bit of prep work because nobody wants to sit there and watch me sew together 2.5-inch squares like over and over and over again.
Oh, I don't know.
So what I did for the kit...
Wait a minute. I almost missed a chair. That would have been sad.
Was you have 8 different colors to put together. You need 2 1x4s.
Okay.
2. Mine happened to match because I'm going to flop them.
Okay.
Okay. And you need 2 3x4s.
Okay. And when you say 3x4, you don't mean 3 inches by 4 inches.
No,
you mean
3
pieces by 4 pieces. Yes.
Okay. So I need to put together my second 3x4.
Okay.
Okay. So this was a lot of me putting my squares down, rearranging them because I didn't like that color next to that color next to that color. Okay.
Okay.
So I have my 3 columns here, so we're just going to stitch these, and then...
And you're using the Q2 stitch, aren't you?
Always. Always.
Because she's that kind of a girl.
With my J-foot, yep.
Yep.
All right, so... Because then we're going to be matching up all of these seams and stuff, fork pins would be...
Awesome.
Yep. I didn't remember to look for our fork pins, so...
I can go look if you would like.
That's all right.
She's going to be brave.
Really, the pressing is the important part.
Okay. And she has these all neatly laid out in little piles so she knows which order she's going to stitch them in.
All right, so we've got column 1.
So these, we are forming, if I'm correct, the pieces that go between
The chick blocks.
The chick blocks. Okay. It is. This is the new Radiance, the Baby Lock Radiance. It is really quiet. You could also hang these up and down instead of sideways, couldn't you? That would have been cute. If they didn't want a table runner, I was thinking.
Yeah, I just don't know if this block is the same size width-wise as the chick blocks.
Yeah.
I did not really measure that, so. Well, 2, 4, no, it is not.
Okay.
These are skinnier than.
Okay. Well, it's a good thought.
It was a good thought.
But if they really wanted to do that.
No, they would be. 2, 4, 6.5 inch. Yeah, no, they would be.
Okay. Okay, we've come to the conclusion, the two of us, that perhaps you could do a wall hanging.
But then you wouldn't need these. The 1x4s.
Maybe. You could put them at the top and the bottom.
Well, this is too wide. Those wouldn't work.
Well, they can figure that out.
They would need to be 1x3s. Not 1x4s. Okay, so here's column 2.
All right. And column 3. It was good to see all you girls on Friday and Saturday. And Thursday.
Feeling my pedals running away from me.
She's putting her pedal to the metal and it's taken
not going
off.
Anywhere.
Oh, that's better, huh?
Okay, and of course, I'm probably sure that the iron has turned off at this point.
Probably.
So, I'm going to take my 3 columns and I'm going to make sure that my 1 and 3 column are pressed the same way and my 2 column is pressed the
opposite way. Would you like us to come over?
If you want to.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll just show them what we're creating here.
Okay.
We are creating a really adorable chick runner. It's called chick magnets, or a chick magnet. So this is a Patchabilities pattern. And these little birds are cuter than all get out. This is not machine embroidery. It is good old-fashioned applique. And we do have a kit for $17.50. That includes the buttons for their eyes, the backing, the binding, and all of the parts and pieces that you need to make these adorable little chicks. So $17.50 for this chick magnet pattern. Well, for the kit, and $10 for the pattern. $15 for the pattern.
Okay, so now once my seams are pressed opposite, this is why, okay, now they can lock together and we get perfect seams.
Okay.
Or so you should. I guess we'll determine that here in a minute. But again, you could always use those fork pins.
I love these colors, though.
Stabilize.
So springy.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little heavy on the orange side, but that's okay. Those fabrics, collection of fabrics.
They called to you.
They really did.
Right, old-fashioned applique.
Okay, so let's see. Okay.
Oh, they matched? Woo!
All right, and then we're going to add our third column here, which again, being pressed opposite directions, really lock together.
You got your nails done since I've seen you. Or you did your nails.
I did my nails.
They're beautiful.
I let Marshall pick out the color.
Well, that was...
And he's like, I feel like this is a color you would pick. And then I looked at it, and it's glitter. And I'm like, okay. And I think it's supposed to be like one of those like top coat kind of colors. You know, you're supposed to have a base color. And I was like, oh wow.
Let's try it. So are you still picking meals from the jar?
Yes and no. But since we're going to the gym now, a lot of them aren't very like
Jimmy-fied?
good food friendly. So I have to kind of...
So once a week you can have a meal from the jar.
Sure, right. Okay, so now we have our second 3x4. I'm going to press this. I'm just going to let them fall whatever way they want to fall.
Yeah, because
these
it doesn't
seams aren't going to matter.
Okay. We'll wait right here for you.
Okay.
So we had a very rainy weekend. It was lovely. So good to get moisture here in Colorado because we definitely needed it. But it is chillier.
All right. So now that we have all of our square units,
now we need our birds.
We're going to put our background pieces in between all of...
Before you do your applique?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So pretty much this is our way it's going to be stitched. Okay, so you have a 1x4, then your background, a 3x4 background, 3x4 background,
and a 1x4. Okay? You got it.
And I don't know, I mean, I'm assuming that most people would stitch it this way before doing your applique on your little thingies, but if you don't want to, you could totally do them before. I didn't do it because I wasn't quite sure if my applique, like the pieces that I was going to applique, if they didn't show it in the pattern or whatever with them being over the size of the actual block. But in case they were, I wanted them to be able to, instead of losing it in my seam.
I get you.
Okay.
But now you know, if they wanted to do their applique first, so they didn't have all that fabric to turn on the machine, they could. Because she did all the work ahead of time for you guys. The rain was very calming, Laura. Yes, it was lovely rain. And the thunder was good to hear that.
I didn't have any thunder up in Greeley. Just a lot of rain.
I had snow on my deck and my grass on Sunday morning, Patty, but that was all. And then it was gone. But you guys are a lot higher there in the San Juans.
Just bumped my finger. Kind of scared me.
Hopefully it wasn't too bad, Wanda.
Come on, corner.
Get with it, corner, right?
Yeah.
I have to say, I was the laziest I've ever been yesterday. I did absolutely nothing.
Not me. My legs were finally feeling okay after all of my workout business. And then I went and pulled weeds yesterday. Now I'm sore again.
I was just like pooper doopered. And I thought, I'm
You had a long couple of days though.
Well, yeah, I had
Between Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
well, yeah, Wednesday afternoon, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah. They were long days, yes. Yeah, I gave myself permission yesterday morning to just watch TV and pretty much do nothing. And if the house was messy, the house was messy because that's the way it was.
Okay. 2 more seams.
Oh, Phyllis, her doggy spent the weekend under the bed because of all the thunder. Carrie H., you should be able to get about 4 of these done before Easter. And did you back your applique fabric with anything?
It's all on Steam-A-Seam.
It's all on Steam-A-Seam. Okay.
Which we're going to talk about here in just a second.
Okay. I got ahead of you.
You did.
So sorry, Charlie.
Jumped the gun here a little bit.
Anna, I stole your thunder.
Got my finger again.
Marge, we are working on chick magnets. That's what it's called, is a chick magnet.
Okay, so once you basically have the majority of the runner done, I'm going to press my seams. They all want to go into my block, so I'm just going to press them that way. And then I'm going to back it with single-sided fusible.
The entire thing?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll show you guys what we're doing. Our one person that said forgot it was Monday. We're doing this really adorable table runner. It's from Chick Magnet. It's Patchability's Chick Magnet. And it is old-fashioned applique. No embroidery. Old-fashioned applique. So we'll walk over here and see what Cindy is doing.
Okay, so again, I just pressed them so that all the seams really were wanting to lay towards our centers. So I just let them do that. This is single-sided fusible. In reality, you could use double-sided. Just peel it off. You're going to have to kind of yank and peel it off of your ironing board, which is fine.
I would still use single-sided, I think.
But
she's got an extra large piece here. Did you ladies notice that?
I'm kind of wondering if I should put my borders on first then. I didn't do that last time. It's okay. So I will tell you right now, I'm not doing it because I'm lazy, and I'm not going to end up getting this whole thing done within our hour.
We're into a chicken.
Okay? So, and I do want to stitch around the chick. Okay, so right now I probably would actually sew my borders on. Okay, which is just 3 strips. And I actually picked this color right here.
Oh, okay.
It's 3 strips that are 1.5 inches wide. Okay, and you do side, and then top bottom. Okay, and then I would put the back on.
Yeah, that would probably be the best.
That way, if I did it, the way I'm doing it right now means that when I add my borders later, I won't have that backing on there. I could fuse it on and then piece it together. But in reality, I would want it to be all one cohesive piece. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead, press this on.
Yeah, Donna, her colors are so pretty, and they definitely look springy and Eastery. They're happy colors.
I love this fabric. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is all one collection.
They're so very pretty. Cute. Yes, so cute.
Okay, now with this fused, I'm going to trim it up so I don't have this gigantic freaking piece.
Okay. I covered you guys up so we can walk over here real fast and you don't get seasick. So again, the pattern is $15 and the kit for our Chick Magnet table runner is $17.50. That includes your backing, your binding, and all of the pieces that you need, and your buttons, all of the pieces, the fabric for all of the pieces.
All right, so I chopped off the ends here, and I'm going to go the long way.
So this is what she's saying before, that in reality, she would have probably put her borders on first and then everything would be the same.
Good, how are you?
Okay, drag this to me.
Touching base with you guys before I make my official, we are sending out on all participants on the Easter egg hunt. Oh, okay. You guys want to get involved on the Easter egg hunt? I have dropped off the poster and man. I always want to say Mike, but I know it's Matt.
Okay. So really, I'm just trimming it all up to where we're right up against the edge.
Okay.
Here.
Perfect.
Okay. And now we're going to talk about applique pieces. So let's go back over to the machine. All of our little pieces are up there. Okay.
All right.
And so I did, there is a page in the pattern, which I'm going to pull out here for a second.
Okay.
So let's sit and talk about these. So it is not reversed already for you. So you do need to trace from the back side. Okay.
That means I saw you standing at the window this morning.
Yep. So I had this paper, I had it taped to our window this way.
Yes.
Okay. So otherwise, like this chick would be going this way. Okay. So, and if that's not something that's going to bug you, then trace it, because it is way easier to see it on this side.
It is, yes.
Okay. So I had my steam-a-seam underneath here, traced it on my steam-a-seam, peeled the back side off, put it onto the fabric that I wanted each piece to be. Okay. And then cut them out directly on the line.
Okay.
Okay. So now I have all of these little bits and pieces. Okay. And this chick,
is this chick number 1, number 2, or number 3?
I think he's number 3. Technically, he's our walk-in chick. Okay, so the fabrics that you have for these pieces are large enough that you can decide. So what I did was, like, this chick had one fabric, this chick had another fabric, but this chick is small enough that what I ended up doing was using his for the wings of the other two chicks.
Okay.
So just that way I could utilize, and plus they were all super cute anyways. Okay. So, but really you should have enough fabrics to be able to kind of do whatever. Okay. So I'm just kind of looking at the placement and how she's got them put together. Okay, just making sure I kind of have things in the right spot.
Linda, did you cut it off and not leave the fabric for the border? We did not leave the backing for the border. We cut that off. But there is fabric in the kit for the borders.
Yeah. So I actually have them sitting right by the machine.
Yep.
This is what you want. You're going to have 3 strips that are 1.5 inch wide.
Okay.
Okay.
Does that answer your question, dear?
Okay, so pretty much this is the layout of my chick.
Okay.
Okay. And I would now, which we can actually go up to the
back to the iron.
back up to the iron and fuse all these pieces
Right.
down. I'm going to try and walk without blowing any of these pieces away.
Thanks for calling Above and Beyond. This is Steve. Can I help you?
So because I don't have my borders on, I do need to make sure I don't place them too high and too low.
Mm-hmm.
These seams are already set, so we're fine there.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to make sure I don't have him
Right up there
closer,
at the seam.
you know, I have to at
Mhm.
least give myself a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance there, okay?
And you use steam a seam?
I did use
So
seam
you
to
can
seam.
audition them
Yep.
because it moves.
Yep, so right now I still have the backing
Uh-huh.
on, so I'm just going to start with the big piece because he's our base piece. Okay, and what's nice is that you can kind of just rip it a little bit. It starts to peel off. It is sticky.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can just kind of
Lay him down.
place him down. See how he looks with our other pieces. So we've got a wing here.
Yeah, the batting. If you want to put batting on the borders, you can certainly do that.
Yeah, which is honestly what I'm going to do.
Right.
And I'm going to cut the batting pieces 1/2 of an inch smaller.
So they fit on there.
Yeah.
So if you were doing this at home, I would go ahead and sew my borders on and then put the whole thing down.
Yeah, I would have done that too. Okay, so right now I've got this really close, this not so close. Okay, so I already know I'm going to justify this over a little bit.
Perfect.
Center. No, that did not really lay down where I wanted it to. Okay, then we've got his beak.
Look at that.
There. Then we've got his funky little feet.
What size does he wear in shoes?
I couldn't even tell you. Okay.
I wonder if there's a chick size out there.
So this one is kind of like here, but again, I have to make sure I don't lay them too far down to where they're in that seam. So this leg's going to be a little bit lifted up. And then this one's kind of funny. You kind of are looking at the bottom of his foot. This one is like...
Oh, one is going up in the air. How cute.
Yeah, he's like mid-step. Isn't that kind of weird?
Yeah, this one. Does this one lay like that, or does it come up like this and this fits in it? Really? Okay.
Nope. Okay, so that is going to be our first chick. We're going to press him because we like our where we're
You're happy
now. I am happy. Okay, so now once you apply heat, that's it. Okay, so
yeah, once you've done it, you're done it.
He's stuck.
Steam a seam is great. I
do love this stuff too. Okay, and now we're going to give him some stitches.
Okay. I can tell you guys, if you've had your steam a seam for a long time and the backing doesn't want to pull off very easily, it's probably because it's older than dirt. And you might want to just get rid of it.
So you're saying we probably shouldn't buy 17 yards at a time?
Probably not.
Okay, where did my yellow go? Here it is. So I'm going to change my thread. I did use the same yellow for all pieces, and I am coincidentally using Kimberbell threads or fabrics for the chicks, so I'm using Kimberbell
threads. Okay, glide threads.
Or the glide threads that you would get. So this is the buttercup color.
Okay.
I think color 512 in Floriani would work just fine also.
I'll bet it would.
I use that one a lot.
Kim, this is the Chick Magnets by Patchabilities, and the pattern is $15. The kit is $17.50. Should you be interested in ordering it?
Okay, not only am I changing my thread, I'm also going to change my foot to the open toe foot.
Mm-hmm.
There's this one. There's also the clear one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, both of those are available online for today if you don't happen to have one. Okay.
It makes applique so much
Yes,
easier.
it's nice to be able to see your stitches and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I also need to change my stitch. So I'm in the quilting menu already, which is perfect. I'm going to select stitch number 14
Okay.
in the quilting menu. Then I'm actually going to alter my width. I'm going to go down to a 3 and up in length to a 3.
Okay.
Okay?
That's an easy one to remember.
Yes. And I'm starting with yellow because it's the furthest down.
Okay.
Okay, I like to build my stitches
I do too.
up.
Yes.
Okay, so will I end up using the same color for the wings too? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but because my yellow is the first one touching my fabric, my base
Uh-huh.
fabric, that's where I'm going to start. Okay, now there is a pattern to the way that this stitches out. So it's forward, backward. Yeah, forward, backward, forward, left, right.
Okay.
Okay, so I really pay attention to that because when my needle stops, I need to kind of figure out where I am to figure out where I'm going to move and pivot. Okay, so normally I would try to find the straightest spot possible, but
Yeah.
there aren't a lot of those here.
No, and I will say when you're doing applique, always test your applique stitch, your blanket stitch first, so you know which way it's going to go for you.
Mm-hmm. So, but if I were to say if I went forward, backward, forward, and left, now it's going to pick that right back up, and I trimmed my thread, it's going to pick right back up in that same spot.
Yes.
It's not going to start our stitch back over. So if you need to start that stitch back over, you're going to have to reselect your stitch or sew off on something else to get you back to that beginning.
Absolutely.
So we're going to kind of put motion to our words here for a second. So the other thing I want to do, and I can't really reach over there right now,
What do you
is
need?
normally I would try to lower my needle at this point to double check that my needle is just going to be
Your
right
laser
off.
beam down?
No,
Or your
I don't really. So I'm going to want to lower this, and I want to just make sure, and if I needed to readjust, because my needle is going to be just to the right of my applique fabric right here. Sure, I could use my little needle beam laser, but I don't know, just for me the needle is just fine. And I want to make sure it starts just off my applique fabric on my background. Okay, so we're going to go forward, backward, forward, left, right. Okay, and at this point, this is when I decide if I need to pivot or if I can continue in the direction that I'm going. So because it's a slight curve, I'm going to keep going, and I'm just going to lightly curve with the fabric. Okay, but I'm not going to cross fabrics here, really. Okay, that's the end of my sequence. Now I'm going to trim my thread, and I'm going to pick back up somewhere else that I need to on this fabric. Okay, which is going to be a tiny little bit right here. So because I stopped it right at the end of that sequence, it kind of, well, I let it go forward before I trim that thread, so it did go back.
There's lots of cutting and stopping and starting.
There will be for these guys because they're such weird little things. Okay, now on this part, there is too much of a turn for me to just kind of gradually do that. So I really let the sequence finish, let the needle raise up. So you really want your pivoting feature to be activated so that now I can actually pivot the fabric and continue on in the direction I want to go.
She's not using the J foot, Susan. Now she's using the open toe foot.
Okay, so now that's this little guy. There's going to be a lot of hairs to trim. Lots.
The only other way you could have done that is just to layer after you got all your outside of this done, I guess.
What do you mean?
Not put your feet in your
Well, yeah,
wings.
but then I'd have stitches, and so then when I would fuse this down, I'd have bumps from all those stitches. I don't want that. It'd look like you'd have scars.
That scars.
Yeah, who knows what this chick's been through?
A day at work.
Yeah. I might get bruises from work, but not scars.
Look how fast she is. It's so quiet. The radiance doesn't make much noise in sewing, and now it does make some noises in
It like
embroidery.
purrs.
It has a sound in embroidery, but sewing, it's just smooth running machine.
Okay, so again, needing to pivot just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Too much of a curve to be
Too much.
happy of my, advancing abilities while turning.
Okie dokie then.
All right, then we got his little
One
weird
little-
hairs.
And don't say that, because he might hear you, and then he'd be offended.
Okay, so then you do that, and what I do is it just went up, huh? It's gonna go left though. Lost my spot in my. Oh, dang it. Okay. So yeah, you just kind of again have to really pay attention where you're at. Apparently, I can't stitch and do applique and talk at the same time.
At the same time. But
I got a little going on. Got a little bit.
Oh, got it. It's going good. It looks good. I only know a couple people that do it perfectly. I'm certainly not one of those.
And then I really am just folding the rest of the runner on top of itself
Mm-hmm.
to kind of, minimize the bulk so that it doesn't like pull to the back of the machine or left or right.
And you've got your embroidery unit on over there too,
Yeah,
so you could have taken that off.
My elbow's all up in it. A lot of little peaks over here. So the other thing that you can do if you know you're going to have a lot of little twists and turns is you can actually shorten your stitches. It kind of puts them in a better...
Makes it a little easier to make those curves. You could go down to a 2.5 and a 2.5, I guess.
Yeah, and that's actually what I did when I went around like all the little knobby feet.
Little feet, yeah.
Well, I didn't on one because I kind of forgot that I could do that, and so the other two have smaller stitches. But you know what? You can't even tell. Okay, so there is our stitching around our chick.
Looky there.
Okay.
Isn't he adorable?
How are we on time?
We've got 15 minutes.
Okay.
14 minutes. But who's counting?
I'll do the wings here.
We've got Steve on phone duty today. Just always try to make that outside swing. I sometimes forget, and I'll try and turn on an inside swing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a mess. Doesn't look too hot. The reason she sewed her runner together first and then did her applique is she wasn't sure, since she'd never done the pattern before, if it would fit on the blocks without flowing over into the pieced portion. You could go ahead and just do your applique first, but then she used her fusible, single-sided fusible, across the entire thing. So I think by doing this, you get a more even feeling table runner.
Mm-hmm. Which is really something that I prefer.
Me too.
So
Yeah.
I don't think I would. I mean, I would have put my borders on.
Yeah, that would have been ideal.
But I don't think I would have ever stitched them
down first.
Yeah.
Regardless. But if you want to,
heck yeah.
Heck yes.
You do what you want. All right. So again, I'm trying to look for the longest start.
Okay.
That's just, I don't know.
Instead of starting,
I would prefer to do this and then kind of go around
and see. I usually try and start in a point.
Do you really?
I do. I do the start in a point and then come around. I think everybody, just whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
And you're going to sew these buttons on by hand, right?
Heck no.
Really?
Really? I definitely hot glued mine. I'm pretty sure the gun's still plugged in.
Linda, you're welcome. Glad we had that stuff on hand. So she's coming around the last two toes on this, or last two feathers. Feathers, sorry. So sorry. We were on toes. Now we're on feathers. No, we haven't gotten to toes yet.
Haven't gotten to toes yet. What are you talking about?
It's Monday. Monday.
There's a stand thing over on the one of the chairs for the serger. Do you mind grabbing it so you can help on the floor?
For that, you mean?
Yeah.
Where's it at?
Sitting on a chair in front of the Accolade. Okay, guys. Blanket stitching, one-handed, while holding the camera. But we just had like 6 people walk in, and Steve is on the phone. So, no. Can you hold this again?
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, guys.
We're
getting
switching things out here so that Cindy can go solo for a minute.
So thank you, Susan, for your awesome gift, because we are so putting it to use right now. So you guys are going to have a funky little angle here for a second. Okay. Got you guys held up in a cool little device here that was so nicely gifted so that I could finish this up. It sure did, Susan. Okay, so we've got 2 wings here. Now, again, there are a lot of little curves, really sharp little curves in here. So when you go to stitch these out, I probably really would suggest that you shorten and go to like a 2.5 and a 2.5 in length and width for these little curves in the feet. If you guys want to see the other chicks and how they get positioned, let's take care of that. Okay, so let's turn you guys this way. Okay, so the next little chick is kind of doing like a walk this way kind of a deal. So we've got this one, he faces to the right. We've got his funny little beak going on here. So this will go right there. And then he's got some funny feet. Thanks. Okay, so we've got this one. So he's definitely, so right now my chick is definitely a little too high up. So let's lower him a little bit.
All right. No, I'm good. We got the hang up. Oh, the brunette here? Okay.
Okay. And whoops, falling down. All right. And then, oops. And then we've got this one, this foot. He kind of sits there. And then our wing will go back kind of right in this curve. Okay. So again, I would peel the backs off, stick them down, make sure I like where they are. I'm not too high or too low. And then I would fuse that down so that he isn't going anywhere. And then this other one I think is actually kind of my favorite. So this little guy is sitting in an egg. So I'm going to put his fabric down first. Then we would place the egg on top. Okay, and then this one, his little beak points up. Okay, so then again, peel the back, fuse them down. And then all I did on mine, so all that's needed to do on this one would be to do that, do the applique, obviously add my borders. Okay, but let me turn you guys over this way so I can kind of reposition you just a little bit. You're very zoomed in. Okay, and then really all I did was place the little buttons. Again, the buttons are part of the kit, and I just hot glued them down. I totally cheated, just because I don't like to hand sew at all. And then I did binding. I did the backing in a fun, there might be different oranges, but in a fun orange, and then had binding be the same as the border, just because the borders are already pretty skinny enough. And that was my table runner. All right. Again, the pattern for today is $15. It is called Chick Magnet. It is from Patchabilities. It is completely a sewing pattern, but you do get the Birdie, wouldn't that be nice? Unfortunately, no. You do have to trace and cut them out yourself. You get this template page here to get you your shapes. Okay. You do need to make sure you trace them from the back to make them go the same way. They are not already reversed for you. Okay. And I do love that you get 3 different projects in here with the really chunky table runner. This one, I like that it's kind of skinnier. It is super cute. And then you also get the wall hanging with our bunny gnome and a huge Easter egg. So, yep. Hopefully you guys have fun with this pattern, and we will see you, I'm pretty sure, tomorrow for DDE. I don't know why I would say Wednesday. I don't know why we would change things up. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And we will see you tomorrow. All right. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.